attract and retain people.
I'd really like to keep that and talk.
Thank you, Mark. That's great. Thanks for your time. Jocelyn and Carolyn, please. Just to remind councillors, we've actually, we had 10 minutes up our sleeve because sadly 2 people cancelled, but we've managed to gobble that up by having more questions going on than we should. So just keep them nice and tight, please.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Jocelyn Papprill takawenga.
Ko Caroline Syddall, aho.
Thank you, Mayor and Councillors, for the opportunity to speak with you today. We are residents of Mount Pleasant and are active members of our community as well as regular cycle commuters.
I'd just like to put in here that although we live in the suburbs, the centre of the city is very important to us, and I support pretty much everything the previous speaker said about making the centre alive.
As we wrote in our submissions, we're most interested in fostering a green and livable city that will cope well with both climate change and support the ageing population. We advocate for roads that are calmed and have space on footpaths for pushchairs and wheelchairs to move safely, for high quality and frequent public transport, for well-connected cycleways, and for green spaces with good tree cover for temperature control and designed for stormwater management. We love the cycleways that allow us to travel more safely into the city from Mount Pleasant. I use the Heathcote Expressway daily on my commute to work, preferring it now to my previous route, which was along Ferry Road, where I was knocked off my bike in October last year.
And on my ride to work, I connect with both the Rapanui Shag Rock Cycleway and the Unicycle Cycleway, while the coastal path route through to Sumner is a great route to go and get an ice cream. And we've noted that the coastal pathway has recently created an opportunity for a private enterprise in the form of an ice cream seller in Scott Park, so that seemed like a nice little unexpected positive from it. So we appeal to councillors, please continue with the development of the cycleways network, particularly with the connections between each major cycleway. We note the potential to develop a safer connection between the Fairmead end of the Heathcote Expressway and the beginning of the coastal pathway. And specifically, we would like to see the Te Aratai cycle connection undertaken. I believe you plan to have it on hold. This, to us, would seem to be a no-brainer for a large school on a major road.
With respect to increasing biodiversity in our urban forest, we value support the City Council rangers give to local restoration projects which help restore our forest canopy, increase biodiversity and habitat for Indigenous species. We both volunteer regularly for 2 significant restoration projects, the McCormick's Bay Wetlands restoration under the auspices of the Estuary Trust, and the Drayton Reserve volunteers led by the indomitable Dave Bryce, who gets some occasional support from council rangers. Stormwater runoff from residential development higher up the valley discharges sediment into the Drayton stream, which contributes to sediment in McCormick's Bay. Hence, there is much work to be done to improve stormwater management in this area. One thing I personally value about living in Christchurch is the amazing public facilities like swimming pools and libraries. Such facilities contribute to social cohesion and community wellbeing. I also regularly use Linwood and South libraries, and on occasion Sumner and Brighton. Each very different, but each catering so well for the communities they serve. And the librarians are so well versed in the resources they hold and very, very willing to help people find information and develop skills for life. Please don't reduce library hours.
Since Te Toi Toi opened in 2021, we have delighted in the facilities provided there, and particularly love the women-only Wednesdays. We commend the Council's building of and support for Linwood Te Toi Toi Pool and the new Te Matatiki Hornby Centre. We believe that it's particularly valuable to have facilities like libraries and swimming pools in lower socioeconomic areas that cater for the diversity within those communities. We also advocate for greater investment from Council in green or slow tourism through the continued development of recreational and urban forest features in the Avon or Takaro spine, support for the completion of the 360 Trail, and the development of a wetlands eco-sanctuary. These features will not only contribute towards our climate change mitigation goals, but will also provide greater wellbeing and quality of life for local residents.
And as a person heavily involved in community, I know how important funding is to enable groups to provide events and to develop programs that address climate change and resilient objectives, such as the creation of community gardens, composting facilities, and the provision of classes in food preservation or preparation. Both Strengthening Communities Fund and the Sustainability Fund have been vital avenues for funding. I am concerned that the Sustainability Fund seems to have been cut after this year. Where will community groups be able to apply for such support from then on?
Finally, we do not support any further council funding for the Anglican Cathedral. It was not successful either as a church or a community space before the earthquakes and is of no particular architectural merit. We do not see that a repaired cathedral has anything significant to offer the city.
Kia ora.
Okay, thank you very much. That's good. Thank you.
Thanks, sweet.
Right, Jan, please.